it's just idiotic to say that marketing doesn't work when the big players that are opening with massive, that are like already profitable day one, are doing it. They're just, the truth is, mentor companies are scared of you figuring out a way to grow your business without using them.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple with Blake and Sherman. Today, we're going to talk about some things that we're hearing that people are distracted about. And, again, most people know just enough about running, some paid marketing on social to mess everything up, right? So we want to sort of talk about some of the things that you should be focusing on and some of the things that you shouldn't waste your time on. So Blake, I'm going to let you take off because you're going to be the pro on this more so than me. So let's sort of jump into it.
Yeah. So there's a lot, like we get a lot of questions a lot of times, and I'll say this first, right? Imagine somebody hires you to be a personal trainer and they trust you. They're paying you a good amount of money. And then every single week, every single month, they're asking you why you're programming stuff. You would probably tell you, hey, you hired me. I'm the expert. Trust the process, right? So let's start there with that mindset. And like, you're getting this off your plate. You're not wanting to learn how to do this. And if you're wanting to learn how to do Facebook ads, don't hire a marketing company. You're ending up just wasting their time because you're just asking them a lot. Like for somebody to say like, hey, I want to learn and I want you to teach me. It would be like asking a gym owner, like, hey, I want you to teach me how to run a gym in 1 month and take 10 years of expertise and break it down to a month. Like you'd be like, that's not worth any of my time or yours, right? So hopefully that doesn't come off harsh, but it's the truth. Because you're looking to get something off your plate that you can buy back time to go do something else, right? So here's the number one thing that matters when you're running paid marketing: profit. And are you making more money? Everything else is irrelevant. If you're making money, that means add more money to it. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that's just a simple answer. Well, it's the truth. Because now if you look at any metric, none of the metrics matter other than just adding more money to the budget so you can grow faster. Because let's say, for example, if I put free out there, right? Free, I'm going to get pretty low cost per lead. Well, really low cost per lead. Probably, with our ads and our copy, probably sub $10. When I take free out, the cost per lead is probably average 13 to 15 right now. So it's going to be, $5, $6 more. You're going to get less leads, right? But are you going to convert more with free trials? And if you think so, I'm not sure when this podcast will be released, but make sure you go listen to our free trial one. You're not going to convert more. So would you rather have $10 leads or $15 leads? Well, you'd rather have $15 leads, right? So the cost per lead is irrelevant when you're making money. What you need to look at, and don't look at just, this month. Like we were on a call the other day and the guy's like, well, with your service and everything, like how do I make my money back? You're not a product. Like, you're not, Sherman has books on a shelf behind him. If you're selling books, say that book cost you $10. If you sold, it cost you, $20 to sell that book, you're losing $10 every time because they're not buying a subscription of books every single time. Now, granted, if he had 7 books out, maybe that's worthwhile that he gets them to the ecosystem of, his author and like loves his first book and buys another one or whatever else he has. But for this sake, you're not a product. So like, let's even use that analogy of like, $10 and let's say it's a book subscription of, $20 per month, or it's $10 per month and it costs them $20 to acquire the customer. Next month, month 2, they've now paid $20. He's break even, right? And then every month after that is just profit from the client. So you have to look at, okay, If this client pays $200, right, and let's say we sign up 10 people that month, that's $2,000. Let's say your cost and everything associated is $2,500. Yeah, you're minus 500 that month. But if you do that again and you get another 2,000, those add on itself, and then your 4,000 revenue versus now you're only paying $2,000, right? Now, granted, you could say, well, I'm $5,000 in whatever, but it's going to your revenue is going to compound on itself. That's why it doesn't make sense with a product-based, a service-based business or product. So going back to metrics, people get caught up in, well, what's my, cost per click? Just another one. If I said free everywhere, how much is it going to cost me to somebody to like look at that? Very, very cheap. But if I have good, compelling copy, it's going to cost more for somebody to click on it. And that's not going to, like, the only metric, like, it's like a filter system. So say you're not making money, right? Like, so everything I said, just like if you're making money and it's working, profit's the only thing, add more to it, right? Then you can test things outside of it and see if it works better. You don't ever turn off what's working. Let's say it's not working, right? Then the filter system is, what's my cost per lead? And my cost per lead is not good. Then I can look at, okay, then what's my click-through rate? Because then, my cost per click. If my cost per click is good, then I can look at my click-through rate. If the click-through rate is very low, that means my form or my landing page aren't converting, right? Then from there, I can look at my cost per acquisition and other things like that. Frequency is how many times somebody sees it. This day and age, you could have a frequency from 8 to 20 and it still be okay if you're making money. It is all okay if you're making money because you're not going to turn off what's working. Now, frequency, if you're in a small town, could come into play where you need to look at, okay, people have seen it like 8 to 10 times really quickly, and my cost per lead is skyrocketing and I'm not making any more money. I need to change things up. It just means I need new copy, and here's the thing. When you change anything, you're not going to change. You have your copy, your image, your form, your headline, your description. So you have like 5 variables. You're only going to change one thing because if you change all 5, you have no idea what's working. Now, this is a long process, and this is why I tell people it is beneficial to hire somebody like us that has done this at scale. Because when you change one thing, and here's the thing, guys, like we've tested simple numbers, like 90 versus 12 or whatever it may be, a headline. Changing one word sometimes can make a world of difference. And so knowing all of those things, and this is where like people say like, I've seen it lately, like, oh, fire agency, you can do all this stuff yourself. Yeah, if you want to spend hours and hours and hours and days and months and years figuring this out, go for it. But if your time is better suited,
not to cut you off, and I mean, on top of the time, let's talk about the money, right? Like we spend like $80,000 per month on Facebook ads. So if you're spending even $1,000, $2,000 per month, you can't. I mean, you just can't get the same answers that we get quick enough, right?
Yeah, and so they say, if you know your ARM, what's your average sign up value? Let's say it's 200. You need to spend to see if that works 3 to 5 times that. So on like an ad, like $600 to $1,000, right? And then usually it's going to take 5 tests to figure out what works, 5 to 10. By that point, you're $5,000 to $10,000 in. That's why so many people say that marketing doesn't work for gyms, like gym owners specifically. But if you look at every massive franchise, like, one of our coaches, Tommy, he just talked to a gym that the Yard Gym, they spend, I think it was $9,000 or something like that on their gym.
Yeah, it was something good. Yep.
$9,000 and open with 200 members at each gym. So if people are doing it at large scale of franchises, it clearly works. That's like, it's just idiotic to say that marketing doesn't work when the big players that are opening with massive, that are like already profitable day one, are doing it. the truth is mentor companies are scared of you figuring out a way to grow your business without using them. Because the truth, and I'm going on a tangent, Orange Theory in the yard, their coaches aren't level 3, level 4. So why are they, ask yourself, why are they opening with 200, 300, 400 members when I can't even maintain 100 to 150? It's not the coaching, it's the experience and the workouts and the marketing. And you can keep playing the game all day of like getting more certifications. No one is going to join your gym because you have an L3, L4. Nobody joined my gym because of it. What I can tell you is that you need, if you figure out that you're losing as many people as you're bringing in every single month, and you have systems in place, like we tell, and I'll just pre-qualify this, we only work with gyms that are doing $10,000 or more. It's not because like we don't want to work with gyms and help those out lower, but you've proven that you have some sort of systems and can grow your business, right? Because we'd just be adding more water and it would just all fall out, and water being leads and signups, and they're just going to churn. So going back to full circle here. So if you're running paid marketing, the things to look at, and I'm just giving it all away here, stop looking at your cost per lead first. Keep track of signups. Look at the prior 6 months before you ran ads. If you're getting on average 3 signups a month and you go to 6, you know there's a net 3. How much of those 3, and then figuring out the lifetime value. If those 3 stay for, or $200 and they stay for 6 months, that's $1,200, right?
Yep.
If it costs you X amount to acquire that customer, figure out your ad spend, divided by how many signups, and then get your cost per signup. If that cost per signup is lower than the LTV, you're winning. Now, granted, it'll take a little time, right? You have to. That's another reason why we work with gyms that are only doing $10,000. We have gyms up to $100,000 a month, right? So just want to say, if somebody's listening to this that's doing 100K, we can still help you easily. But we're saying for gyms that are under 10K, like, yeah, we understand that waiting for that growth is hard. Like waiting for month 2, month 3 to be ROI positive may be a little harder, but there's nowhere in life that you get a 10x return month 1, right? Like no mentorship company, anything like that can't give that value month 1. You have to invest. It's like investing in any mentor or any service. It's going to take a little time to pay off. So when you're running ads, first look at profitability. Am I making more money? And my cost per acquisition versus my LTV. Then from there, look at, okay, if you're not, look at the cost per lead. If the cost per lead is too high, if the cost per lead is still low, then you need to look at your sales process. Where in booked, showed, closed, am I missing the mark? If I'm getting, here's some benchmarks. If I'm getting 50% to book, 50 to 80% to show, and then I need to be closing 70 to 80%, right? So let's say we have 100 leads. We know that we should have probably about 40 to 50 book. We know there are going to be about 20 to 30 show. And then we need to close anywhere from 10 to 20, right? That would be good metrics. If you're below those, and that's the other thing to think about. A lot of people get exhausted because they have the truth is a lot of people are going to tell you no. That means out of 100 people, 90 to 80 are going to tell you no or leave me alone. And you have to be okay playing the numbers game. Just like we say all the time with like baseball. Being 1 for 3 gets you in the Hall of Fame. You just need to be 2 for 10, right? Or essentially 1 for 5. So just think of a baseball analogy there. So if it's not your funnel looks right, but your cost per lead is high, then you need to look at cost per click. Is it costing too much? Is it costing over $2 for somebody to click on my things? If it's like a decent cost per click, then look at click-through rate. If my click-through rate is really low, then I know it's the form or landing page that's not converting. But then you have to diagnose on the landing page, what is is the copy not converting? Is it the video? Is it the button? Is it too hard? Things like that. And then finally, look at frequency. Or have people just seen it too many times? Did it used to work and now it's not working? Frequency comes in play so like it worked at one point, but now it's not. Have people just seen it too many times? The other thing you can do, this is just a simple tip. Sometimes you can just, so Facebook after a while figured out what works. If people have just seen it and your cost per lead has gone up, you can just duplicate the ad and relaunch it, and it will try to learn of getting it to a new audience. Or you could go a broader audience. Let's say you're like in, a place and you've only done a 5 mile radius, but people kind of come from like 10 miles. You can branch it out to 7 miles and hit a bigger audience with that. So there's a million things that you can do when you look at an ad. Also, you need to look at filter it and be like, okay, what's the video working? What copy is working? What headline is working? And then figure out how can I create more copy like that? What is the variables within those things that is the common denominator of why that's working, right? And then, like I said earlier, change one variable. So if I knew this is the best video and it's worked over and over for all of our gyms, I'm going to use that video. This is the best headline. I'm going to use that headline. Then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to change one variable to copy. Okay, I'm going to test that. Now on the other one, I'm going to go back through, figure out the best copy that's worked for, mostly all the gyms and the best headline. But now I'm going to try a new image. That way, each time is a different one variation to figure out what works better. Then you can combine those things later on. Now I have the copy that works. I tested 10 different copies. What's the best video? I know the winning copy. Then I tested the best copy versus 10 videos. I know the best video. So stop getting caught up in all of the stuff out there of these are the things that you need to look at. Number one is if you're making money. If you're making money, just put more money into it if you want to grow faster. If you're not making money, then you can go through that filter system of what works. And then in our next podcast, we're going to go through and talk about, hey, when is marketing a good time for you to do? And these are the steps and the things that you need in your business to start paid marketing. So that's my 16-minute rant today.
That's good. That's good. I didn't have to say much. That was good. I was just sitting back learning. So guys, as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.